We know that these two lines are parallel to each other because of these little arrows here. So we need to work out A, B and C. Well, we can get A very quickly here because I've got these two angles on a straight line. So to work out what A is, it's just going to be 180 take away 70, which gives me 110. So 110 degrees must be the value of A. Now, from there it's possible to work out the other two, but we need one of the new rules for this. And the one we're going to use is that corresponding angles are equal. So I'll just write that down quickly, and then I'll explain what I mean by that. So corresponding angles are wherever you can draw in an F angle. So here I've got an F shape, and in there I know that these two angles, the one at C and the one here at 70, must be the same. So I know that C must be 70 degrees. The reason I know that is because corresponding angles are equal, and that is a pair of corresponding angles. Again, here I've got an F angle, and that tells me that this angle here and this angle here are corresponding to each other, so they too must also be the same. So A must be 110 degrees. Let's have a look at another example using a slightly different rule this time. So here I know that G straight away must be the same as this angle here. The reason I know that is because vertically opposite angles are equal, and you need to make sure that you're clear on the reasons. And so vertically opposite angles are equal to each other is the reason for that one. So we've worked out this one is 104 as well. Now from there it's possible to work out each of the others. Now this angle and this angle have the relationship that they are alternate to each other. So alternate angles are also equal to each other. Now alternate angles occur where you can draw in a Z shape. And once I finish writing this down, I'll show you where that occurs. So the Z shape occurs in here, and where that occurs, this angle here and this angle here must be the same as each other. So I know that H must be 104. So the reason for that being that there are alternate angles. Now there's two ways of working out this final bit here. Either I could use my angles on a straight line, because I know that H and I must add up to 180, so I must be 76. Or I could use a slightly fancier rule and say that in this situation between these two parallel lines, I've got what you call a pair of co-interior angles, and they also will add together to give 180, just like these two here. So I know I is going to be 76. Now I'm going to use the fancy rule. I'm going to say that I is 76 degrees because co-interior angles add up to 180. Third example, and they're starting to get a little bit trickier, some of these. A really good piece of advice is if nothing seems to be happening for you when you're just staring at it, just go around, try and work out as many things as you possibly can. It'll tend to all fall into a place eventually. So we need to find D, E and F here, and this 55 degrees seems like a good place to start. So we'll search for an angle that must be the same as 55. Well, I've got a Z shape in here, so that tells me straight away that I know E must be 55 degrees, and the reason is because alternate angles are equal. So I'll label that, and that should help us work out what F is. I don't know why I've just written equals there. So I know E is 55, and therefore I must know what F is because I've got angles on a straight line here for E and F. So 180 take away 55 gives me 125. And the reason for that is that angles on a straight line equal 180. Now from there I just need to go and work out D, which is quite a long way away. It's going to require a little bit more work. So if I know this one's 130, I can just start working out other angles that I know around there, and I could either work out that one first or this one here. I'm going to go for this one, but you're going to get to the answer either way. So I know that this is an angle on a straight line, so I know this one here must be 180 take away 130, so this one here must be 50. And once I've got that, I know that this is my Z shape. So I know that D must be 50 degrees. The reason I know that, well, I've used two facts there, haven't I? I've used that both angles on a straight line equal 180, and I've used my alternate angle fact, where the Z angle appears, angles are alternate and hence equal. Final example. So I need to find these three all in a little row next to each other, and I've got a triangle here in which I've got two of the angles. So if I add those two together I get 115, and to work out D then it must be 180 take away 115 to get 65 degrees. So 65 degrees must be the value of D. Now I've got some parallel lines here to use, and I therefore know that the angles in the parallel lines here must be the same because I've got that F shape, giant F shape. So I've got my corresponding angle in here. So I know that D plus E must equal 85 degrees. The reason I know that is because corresponding angles are equal. So if I know that D and E add up to 85 degrees, but here I've already said that D was 65 degrees, well, I must know then that E must be, well, what do I add to 65 to get to 85? E must be 20 degrees. To finish it all off, I know that D plus E plus F are angles on a straight line. They must add up to 180. So if D plus E is 85, then I just need to work out what I add to 85 to get to 180. So F must be 95 degrees, and if that's the reason, well then that's just because the angles on a straight line add up to 180.